I remember when COVID hit and it was crazy because I was like, well, I actually get a rest, which I had never had before. I had a Champions League final, I had 2 days off and I went to prep for a World Cup and play every game in the World Cup, having just played every game in the Champions League and things. And I think that was when I realised that I had been neglecting myself and that I actually needed the rest, both physically and mentally. When you've got that demand from the fans, from the clubs, from your teammates as well, you know, to grow the game essentially, as well as, you know, winning and being your best and turning up to every single game. Are you able to turn around and say, actually, like, I'm knackered, like, I need a rest, like, mentally, I can't focus, I can't do this. I think the mental side of it, it's hard because it's so hard to measure in any aspect of work or life. I mean, I think the physical is a little bit more obvious. I think you can see how hard it is to keep recovering constantly. I think there's a lot of players who are tired. That's definitely an understatement. Different players feel it at different parts of the season as well. You know, after a tournament, like, you feel so tired, like everything's so drained. At Barcelona, although we play the most games out of, I think, any team in the world, we've got like quite a big squad and quite a competitive squad, so we're able to rotate a little bit more, but the schedule doesn't really allow for days off. So although we're rotating, we're still in every day. If you're kind of a key player that plays a role in those teams, which tends to be like the players that, you know, make World Cup finals, Euro finals, Champions League finals, and the demand of like what your club wants from you, what your country wants from you. I think there's so many players who I play with who really struggle with, you know, the national team and the clubs not kind of working well together. The simple solution is putting your differences aside, working together for the better of the football, for the players, having good standards and regulations put in place that protect the players. Sometimes it feels like we don't really have that protection in place because it's, yeah, the club and the country are like our employers and we have to do what they say. The schedule predominantly gets spoken about with too many games because there's a high group of players who are maybe in the limelight a little bit more as well. But then there's the players at the other end who, yeah, they could go months without games and then expected to play at a high level. There's a huge kind of differential between like the underloaded players and the players that are probably high use players, because at the end of the day they think, you know, the top end doesn't grow without the bottom end and the bottom end doesn't grow without the top end. I think the players' voices are so important and should be treated as kind of the top priority, because at the end of the day we're the ones who are giving out the product, we're the ones who are having to undergo it. So our perspectives are probably a higher priority if you're talking about the good of the game. Players want to know that our welfare is being taken into account and that's a priority. We're asking for, you know, proper rest periods, proper scheduling. Team GB didn't make the Olympics this year, so for the first time in like, I don't know, over a decade, I've got a holiday planned with my family, which I've never have been able to do before. You know, we want to grow women's football. We want to keep playing. The best players always want to play in the big games.